Hi guys, welcome to today's tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about how to import buyers into Investorlift. So if you're currently using Podio or MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or some other system to send off your email blasts and your text messaging blasts to your buyers, you no longer need to do that. You can actually load all of those buyers into Investorlift and do that all through Investorlift moving forwards, and you should get much better deliverability both with texting and also with email with the systems that we've built. It's just one less thing you have to manage too. If you're using MailChimp or something and paying for that as a separate account, you don't need to do that anymore. You can just do everything through Investorlift. So if you want to import buyers, what you're going to do is come into Investorlift in the backend panel, click on the Buyers tab right here. Okay. Once you're here, there's going to be this little button up in the top right-hand corner that says Import from CSV. Okay. So come here, and what we're going to do is we're going to click Start New Import from CSV. It's going to pop open this dialog box. And there's this little sample button, okay? So we're going to go ahead and click this to download a sample CSV file that's going to have all the column headers that we need when we're running an import into Investorlift. Now, you want to take your time with this. Don't rush it because there's no undo button on buyer list uploads. You want to make sure that you do it right the first time, okay? So what you'll do at this point is go into wherever you have your list right now, MailChimp, whatever, run an export. And then what we're going to do is take that export and copy and paste over the fields from the export into the appropriate columns on this. So copy and paste email over into email, phone number into phone, first name, last name, so and so. Password, most of the time you're just going to ignore that. The only time you'd use password is, let's say, if you had another system where buyers were logging into your existing buyer site that you had with some other software, and you want people to have the same password. In this system, you could actually use that field to create 10 passwords for each of these buyers. Most of the time you're just going to leave that blank. So go ahead and leave that blank. You have first name, last name here is separate fields. Or if you have in your export, if you don't have those separated, you just have full name, just drop it into the full name field there. But choose one of those two options, either the full name field or the first name, last name field, okay? So I'm just going to pretend that I had another file and I'm creating a buyer, okay? And I'll just put in some info here. So I had phone number field, first name field, last name field, and then geotag. Okay, now here's where you really want to pay attention, okay? There's 3 different ways you can apply geotags. You can apply state level geotags, county level geotags, or city level geotags, okay? So if I wanted to do just a state level geotag, it's pretty easy. I would just put in just the abbreviation for that state, just like that. Okay, no dots or spaces or anything, just abbreviation like that. If I wanted to do a city, what I'll do is I'll put the state in first, then I'll do colon, and then type in the name of that city. So like, let's say Alexandria, okay? That's how we would do a city geotag. Now when you do a city or a county, it'll automatically throw on that state geotag for you. But let's say we want to do a county. What we would do is you're going to do the same thing that we did with cities. You're going to put in the state abbreviation, then colon. Then what you're going to do is type in the name of that county. So let's say Prince William County, okay? And then add another colon at the end. That's how the system is going to know that, hey, this buyer geotag is a geotag for a county, not for a city, okay? Then we also have this type column, and this type, what you can do is you put in realtor, if they're realtor, because sometimes in the system when you do your blast, you can choose to only text and email realtors or only text cash buyers or do a combination of both. So if you want to sometimes segment that out, sometimes in the smaller rural areas, it's more powerful to hit realtors versus, you know, a lot of main cities, you might want to just exclude the realtors and just focus on the cash buyers. So you can use that type field to do that. And then, so you could, the 2 types are realtor or cash for cash buyer, or you can just leave this blank and it'll just set those as unknown. Okay, so I'll put myself in as cash. And there's 2 more fields here. These fields, I don't have them in the template right now. We'll probably add them to the template, but there is vetted and is underscore VIP. Is underscore vetted, is underscore VIP. Now vetted, you're going to want to use this to track you know, who is like fully opted in to your list, right? Opt in for texting, opt in for emailing. You do not want to be blasting cold lists through the system. If you import buyers, you flag them as vetted when they're not vetted. Then when you text and you email those people, All those text and emails are just going to go into the spam folder, get filtered by the carriers, and then it's going to impact your deliverability on everything. And then everything you send out is just going to go spam. So you want to make sure that you're always, you have a pretty vigorous opt-in process for your buyers. And you're talking to each buyer, having a conversation with them, building a relationship with them, and then asking them, hey, is it cool if I email you or text you my deals when I have deals in your areas? Okay, so make sure that if you're using these, you're not screwing this up, because I'm telling you, it'll backfire on you if you do this wrong. So is vetted. I'm going to flag is vetted. Let's say I had a conversation with myself. I said, yeah, Robert, send me deals. I'm interested in them. And then VIP, you can use this to flag the buyers that are like, mega buyers or buyers that have bought deals from you in the past. You can create your own VIP list. And there's some other tools in the system that you can use to send out your deals a little bit earlier to your VIP list than to other buyers. I'll do some tutorials later on how to do that. But if you have some VIP buyers, you can flag them as VIP just by putting a 1 in this field. Now, if they're not vetted, they're not VIP, put in a 0. Okay? Most of the time, you're probably not going to mess around with this VIP list too much. One thing to note, by the way, if someone accepts an offer from you through the system, will automatically flag that buyer as VIP. Okay, so VIP list automatically gets built for you as you're selling deals to your buyers. But most of the time, you're just going to be putting the is vetted flag in there. So I would, normally I'd have probably a few hundred or a few thousand buyers on this list, but just for demonstration purposes, we'll just go with just this one buyer. So I'll put the geotags in like that. Now, what's cool too is if you wanted to do multiple geotags, people always ask me, okay, how do I do multiple geotags? So if I wanted to do multiple, then what I could do is there's two options. I can either just repeat that buyer on the import, have it on one line, and then repeat it again. The system will come in. On the first one, it'll create that buyer. On the second one, it'll already know that, hey, this buyer's already in the system. And it'll just go ahead and just grab just the geotag and apply that geotag. So I could drag this down 20 rows if I wanted to and have 20 different geotags on this buyer. Or the other way you can do it is you could put just, I don't know what the name is for the symbol, but just the line sign. On Mac, it's up in the top right-hand corner below the delete button. So you could put them in like this. I could do VA, MD, DC. Okay, just like that. 3 different geotags for these different states. So let's go ahead and try importing this now. So we'll save this. Go ahead and save this. And then we're going to go import it. And I'll show you exactly how it looks. So save that as a test list. And we'll come in here, back into Investorlift. Click this button. Grab that file. See it's loading in. And we'll scroll down to the bottom. You'll see not validated yet. We'll click this little play button to go. And if we did something by accident, we can remove it. But we can just go ahead and click this play button. And it runs this validation. It'll tell you how many of your buyers are valid. So if there's typos in emails, extra spaces or whatever, it's only going to allow you to import buyers with that are properly set up to be imported, like we just did. Just see, I got one valid. And here's the cool thing. Here where it says existing, you notice even if you have a fresh account, like I was doing a setup the other day, there's about 1,000 buyers on the buyers list. The buyers list didn't have any phone numbers at all on that list. Okay, we imported it, and out of those 1,000 buyers, about 350 or so of them were already existing. Not in their account, but in other Investorlift accounts. So this is one of the really cool, powerful things about Investorlift is if you have a buyer in your account and someone else has that buyer in their account, if you import it and it already exists, let's say you're missing a phone number or whatever, it'll fill that in for you, which is really cool. So we imported this list the other day, 1,000 buyers. Hardly of them, I don't think any of them had phone numbers, but then once we went to the system, afterwards you can see that over 350 of those were already being scored. They already had scores because other people had already been working them. And also about 350 or so of them had phone numbers already from other users that contributed to that buyer's list. So that's a really cool feature here is, it's that's why I call it the Investor family. We're all working together, building these buyer's lists together to help us all get the right deal in front of the right person at the right time. All right, so let's go ahead and click import there. We'll let it run. It'll give you the status there. Once it's completed, it'll show complete. And then we'll go into the buyers here, and I'll go pull myself up as a record here. And you'll see it's added the phone number that I put in here, it's flagged me as a vetted buyer because I put that vetted flag. And then under locations here, you'll see DC, Maryland, Virginia, those 3 geotags that I put in got applied. So guys, that's exactly how to upload your buyers. Just take your time with this. Again, there's no undue but on this. You want to make sure you're doing it correctly. Make sure you're putting in really good data, making sure you're using that vetted flag correctly. And if you follow all of that, it's going to set you up for success, and you'll be able to build a really, really awesome, perfectly geotagged, perfectly vetted buyers list that you'll be able to use for years to come and have a lot of success with. So thanks for joining us on this tutorial, and we'll see you in the next one.